Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Today is actually two different things that we're going to be doing. We are going to be doing a review and a product tryout for the first time, I've never actually done one of these, of ForJars canning lids, and I'm super pumped about this one. I'm sure if you guys have been keeping track of January, which if you haven't, why not? Today's the last day. You still have a chance to go and check them out. So make sure you do that. But I've been seeing these on Lisa's videos and I was super intrigued about them, and then they reached out to me and they asked me if I wanted to go ahead and review them. So I was like, yeah, canning lids, hello. So before we bust into these awesome lids, I wanted to tell you a couple of things about them that I found out through the company that I thought that you would be interested in knowing. These lids are made with a much higher quality metal, and that is going to prevent any kind of bending or buckling in the pressure canning process. It also has stainless steel in the metal mixture, I don't know what you'd call it, but there's stainless steel in there, and that is going to prevent rust, which I'm sure we all know can be an issue with canning lids. These lids are also, it's a 0.18 millimeters thick, whereas a lot of the other competitors are like 0.1 to 0.12 millimeters thick. I have notes down here. I wanted to make sure I wrote it down so I didn't forget anything when I was looking everything up. The silicone that they use on here is a very high quality silicone. It's food grade, and it is going to help better seal the product so it doesn't leak. And as you can see on the package here, if you can see, I don't know, but anyways, it is BPA free, which of course is super important when you're canning at home. You do not want to have BPA in your products. You don't want to spend all of that time just to put a bunch of chemicals in it. So I really like that these are BPA free. That's super important. And one thing that I really like about this company is they're really stepping up to meet a need where other companies might be falling short and they are kind of pulling back on production. So I think that this company is fantastic, and I'm so excited to try these out. Lisa raves about them and is just talking about how fabulous they are, so I'm really excited to try these out. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the recipe so that we can start using these lids, because we got to process the recipe before we can put the lids on. So this recipe is coming from restlesschipotle.com. Freaking love the name of that website. This recipe is originally a crock pot recipe, and I am converting it to one that is going to be canning safe, so we have to make some changes and some tweaks. The original recipe for this is a one-time batch, and we are making a 4-time batch. The reason for that, as you guys know, when I'm canning things, if I'm going to take the time to can something, I'm going to make it worth my while. Like, I'm not going to do like a half of a canner load. I just don't like to do that. If I'm going to take my time, which is very valuable, it's going to be a full batch. So we have quadrupled this recipe. So if you look up this recipe, just times it by 4 and you'll get whatever we end up with in the end here, which is a total guess. I'm going to aim for a full canner load, which is going to be 19 to 20 jars, depending on if I find any wide mouth versus I'm going to try and get all narrow mouth. So this recipe calls for 2 cups of oil and 2 cups of flour. And the purpose for that is to make a roux. We're going to skip that step completely. Hopefully that doesn't affect the flavor too much, but you can always do this at the end when you are actually getting ready to consume the jar. Basically what we're gonna do with this, I'm gonna bring you in close, we're gonna chop up all these ingredients, get it ready, and then we're gonna cook them off in kind of all the veggies and then all the meats, and then add everything, the spices and the broth to it. So let's get on. So I made the last minute decision. I'm gonna go ahead and put some bacon in here, and we're gonna use the bacon fat to actually cook off the rest of the stuff. I had like a half a pack of bacon in the fridge that I just kind of felt like I should go through, and why not use bacon fat instead of having to add extra fat? So we're gonna cook this off. So we're gonna cook this down. We're gonna render all the fat off of it. And then I'm gonna bring it in close and show you the rest. All we're just gonna be doing is we're gonna be cooking this down, and then we're gonna add the veggies to it. And then we're gonna add the meat to it, the spices, and then the chicken, and then the broth. Let it cook for a little while, and then can it up. All right, so we got everything finished up. I did the recipe as I said I would, but I added about 3 extra cups of, or 4 cups of, I think 4 cups. Yeah, I think about 4 extra cups of broth. And then I added in 4 tablespoons of this tomato powder that I get from Your Standard. I added 2 cans of tomato sauce. I just felt like it needed like something acidic, like some tomatoes to it. I don't know if that's normal, but I added it. Sue me. I added in 2 extra tablespoons of this. It just felt like it needed something extra. And I added in 4 tablespoons of this cayenne. This isn't a super hot cayenne. I have that coming on order from Your Standard. We have double what I needed to make this recipe full canner load. So we're gonna have 2 canner loads of this stuff. Or I'm probably gonna do 1 canner load of quarts and 1 canner load of pint. Let's get to canning this stuff. Well, I'm gonna tidy up a little bit, and then we're gonna get to canning it.
Smells good. Oh.
It's good, isn't it? But
Smells good. Wow.
So we are finally ready to open up a pack of these lovely canning lids. I'm very excited to try these things out. So, as I said earlier, I was dumb and I made enough for a canner load of quarts and a canner load of pints. So, I'm excited that they sent me so many. So, let's go ahead and open these up and test these guys out. Okay. So, these things, they got the button. I like that. It has a nice full seal. I don't see any issues there. A nice jar. It feels like a canning lid, which is what I'm interested in. So you can see what it looks like here. So we are ready to put this guy to the test. So I'm just really excited to try these out, and I'm excited to bring you guys along and as well as give you guys a nice little discount code. So make sure you check that one out. I'm going to link it down below. You're going to get 10% off, which puts this, right now they're having a sale. I don't know if that's like an always sale or if that's just a right now sale, but when I looked on the website, these are 21.5 cents each for the regular mouth, 100 pack. Make sure you get on that discount as soon as you possibly can. Hopefully that'll still be up when I post this link by the end of the month. Or post this video by the end of the month, I should say. So anyways, let's quit yammering so we can actually get this thing in the canner. It's already 11 o'clock at night. I'm gonna be up so late. But it's worth it because we're gonna have a bunch of gumbo. I'm so pumped. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you guys in close. I'm gonna show you one of these, and then we're just gonna bang these all out real quick. While we're filling these up, we wanna aim for about a little over half, I'd say like 3/4 of this to be filled with the mixture, and then the rest the broth. And I'm not going to pack it in there. I'm just going to grab it, and I have a slotted spoon just to make sure that I'm mostly getting just the mixture in here, just the meat and the gumbo mix. And because my husband and I both really enjoy the sauce with this. So next, we're going to top it off with the juice. Now we're going to go up to this line here. You can see it's got, let me show you on a different one. It might be a little easier. You can see on this jar here, right? If you bring it to the center here, you can see it has this top rim. You can see that it has this top ring and then this bottom ring, and then this one goes all the way around. This is the one that you're going for when you're going for 1-inch headspace. And usually when you're pressure canning, you go for 1-inch headspace. So we're going for the bottom of this line here that goes all the way around. And it's the same on this. Okay, so we're gonna take our debubbler and we're gonna just kind of stir it up. There we go. Just make sure we get all of the bubbles out and then top it off. Oh gosh, that's hot. That was a mistake. That's really hot. Haha, that is hot. Okay, I still need a little bit more, darn it. So next up is a really important step, and that's where we're gonna take a paper towel or a napkin. We're gonna put the vinegar on it. You can put it in a dish if you want to. I just find it easier to do that. And then you're gonna rub the rim and make sure you're getting off any particles. And this is your second chance to be able to check the rims, because you wanna make sure that there's no nicks, no cracks or anything in these rims, because if there is, then there's a good chance that it won't seal. In fact, it's pretty much guaranteed that it won't seal. Okay, so there we go. Time for the first lid. I'm gonna put it on here. So then we're gonna put our ring on here. Tighten it fingertip tight, which is as tight as you can get it with these 3 fingertips. You don't want to like crank it on there, but you're just gonna hold. It's almost like you have like a little torque wrench right there. And then we're gonna put this into our already warm canner because these jars are pretty hot. So we're gonna make sure we're kind of matching the temperature inside the canner so we don't have any thermal shock. We got our full canner, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna check to make sure that this thing here works. It should toggle if you have a Presto like this. You're gonna look through this here vent pipe, make sure you can see all the way through it. We're good. And then you wanna check the seal, make sure that it's in good shape. And then we're just gonna put it on here, close it up, crank the heat up to high. We're gonna wait until this comes up to temperature. This thing is gonna start to vent, and then this thing is gonna pop up. When this thing pops up, then we're gonna wait a couple minutes, and this thing is gonna start profusely spewing steam. At that time, we'll set the timer for 10 minutes. We're gonna let it vent. And that's gonna let, you're gonna hear all kinds of sputters and all kinds of things with that. And then when the 10 minutes is up, we're gonna put our weight on top of here. And then after we put the weight on, we're gonna wait. And the pressure on here is gonna start to rise. And when it gets to the 10 pounds of pressure for my area, this thing is gonna start to jiggle. And when it starts to jiggle, we'll regulate the temperature, which means we'll probably have to turn it down a little bit just to get it to the right level of wobble. And then at that point, we'll set the timer. For this particular timer, this particular canner is the pints. So this one is going to run for 75 minutes, 75 minutes. And then the quart ones that are going behind me here, those are going to go for 90 minutes, an hour and a half. They're going to go for 90 minutes. And that's just because they're a bigger jar. So I'm going to bring you back when we're busting these out of the canner. It might be tomorrow. We'll see. It's the next day, and when these canners were ready last night, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. So I just shut them off and went to bed. So now I'm gonna bring you back and we're gonna show you pulling them out of the canner. There's not gonna be anything special. They're cooled off, and hopefully everything is wonderful inside there. So we're just gonna take the jigger off. Nothing's gonna happen. Yeah. Okay, and then we're gonna take the lid off. Ooh, looks good. They're all sealed. All right, we did have a little bit of seepage, but it did not affect the seals. They all have their seals. So that's not entirely uncommon for me. I tend to have seepage, and especially with this one in particular, when I was cooking it, I originally had it on the other burner, and the burner turned off in the middle of the steam cycle, and so I moved it over here, but then it took forever to get it to recover, so then I moved it back to the other one, and so it had a little bit of up and down, which can definitely affect the seepage, so just so you're aware. Let's go to the other one. Yeah, same thing. I don't know why I'm opening away from myself. There's no steam. All right, looks like we got a seal on all these ones up top. I don't really see any seepage. So this is great. I'm so happy to have 100% seal rate. And so we're gonna come back tonight. And of course, we're gonna do a lovely taste test dinner with this amazing man right here. So we'll see you tonight. This gumbo has been sitting on the counter for 24 hours. Almost, it's been sitting on the counter. I took him out of the counter at 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's been like 16 hours. So anyways, we're ready to go ahead and give these a taste test. We got some rice going on the back there. And we got some cauliflower rice going over here. I just took it off the burner because it was sizzling and I thought it would be a little bit too loud for the video. So we are ready to taste this gumbo. I'm going to warm it up on the stove, and then I'm gonna kind of give you my feedback on these here canning lids, which FYI, I love them. we're gonna go ahead and start with the siphoned ones. These are the ones that had the temperature fluctuations when I was canning them, so they lost a little bit of liquid. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use those ones first so that they're not in storage. So I haven't cleaned these jars yet. I'm gonna do that tomorrow because like I said, I took them out at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you wanna let these set on the counter for 24 hours before you do anything like that. So, ready to open these up. Oh, did you hear that? My goodness. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited for this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna throw this in the pan, and then this is gonna be our dinner.
Here it is.
All right, we are ready for the taste test. Everything is warmed up. Robert is pouring his over rice. I'm pouring mine over cauliflower rice because this recipe itself is pretty much keto. I don't know if you call it keto or low carb. One thing I would have to say, just kind of looking at it, I would definitely next time, because I ended up with so many jars of this, way more. I've never misjudged a canner load by so much, by twice as much. So I would next time, I'm gonna link the recipe down below, and next time I make this, which I will make again, I'm sure, yes, I will double the recipe but quadruple the liquid and then adjust the spices accordingly, because this definitely doesn't have quite as much sauce as either one of us would like. And there's also a lot of chicken. I think I went a little bit too heavy on the chicken. Maybe next time I would do like one, if I'm doing a double canner load, I would probably do maybe like 1.5 chickens in here instead of the 3, but that would be the same ratio. So we're gonna do just 1 next time because it's pretty heavy on the chicken.
So it's been in the canner, so it's nice and blended.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. It's good.
It's good.
Really good.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the recipe itself, if you don't like heat, you're going to follow the recipe kind of as is. I went a little bit off and added heat to it. I added quite a lot of cayenne to it. So if you don't like the heat, don't add the heat. And that's what's great about canning all this stuff at home and processing all this stuff and making it by yourself, is that you can make it however you and your family enjoy it. I'm trying to tell me not to stop talking.
No.
But this stuff is delicious. You don't have to pour it over anything. You can have it just as is. It would be completely delicious. You can pour this over what, like potatoes. You can pour it over rice. You could pour it over some kind of beans. Yep. You could pour it over zoodles if you're going for low carb. You could fry up some cabbage. That would be really good with this poured over it. There's all different types of low carb options that you could do with this, and there's all kinds of high carb options that you could do with this. So this is one of those great kind of unifying dishes where you can cook the base and then you can customize it however you like, because he eats very high carb, I eat very low carb, and so this is a way that we can both eat the same thing but just kind of customize it to how each of us needs to eat it for our dietary needs. Alright, so these canning lids are fantastic. These canning lids, they held up. We had 100% success rate with these. It has thick metal, and it canned something that Robert really enjoys. So make sure that you guys check out the link down below, and you're gonna get a 10% off on your order as well if you click through if you use my discount code that is gonna be listed down below. These canning lids are thick metal. They're made from a really good composite, BPA free, and I just really like these things. These are my new favorites, absolutely 100%. And you can't beat the price either. You can get these for 21.5 cents per lid, so 22 cents per lid. They sell these in the 100 packs. You can also get them with the lids and the rings, and they have a few other options on their website as well you're gonna wanna check out. I highly recommend these. I definitely do. I know this is technically like a sponsored video, but I'm giving you my honest opinion. You can't lie, you can't beat the numbers, 100% success rate, and you heard that seal pop when I opened it. So definitely make sure that you check out this company. It is a great up-and-coming company that is supporting all of the canning collaborators and creators, so make sure that you support them as well. So if you guys are new around here, make sure that you hit this subscribe button. It's going to be right here where these lovely canning lids are. Up here is going to be a video that Google says you're going to like. This one here is my other Canuary video. It is a chicken curry recipe. And then up here is going to be my canning playlist. It's going to have all of the videos that I have put out on canning since I began YouTube. So make sure that you hit the thumbs up button on your way out, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.